What's up, guys? First fucking episode. Honestly, you guys, I've tried to record this episode more times than I would like to admit. It has been a journey, but honestly, I feel like it's been a journey of getting to know myself and trying to figure out how to show up as myself in a room by myself. Well, I'm not talking to anybody but myself. It's been super fucking weird. And I tried doing it with no notes. I tried doing it with notes, and then it was too scripted. And at one point, I was crying, and then I was like, maybe we don't cry on the first episode. Then I watched that episode back, and I watched myself experience emotion while simultaneously feeling that emotion. Super fucking weird. But anyway, if you're looking at me on your screen or listening to me in your little earballs and you are thinking, who the fuck does this bitch think she is starting a podcast? If you know me anyway, I get it. And I was feeling the same way. And then I remembered I could do whatever the fuck I want to do. And so can you. You don't need anybody's permission to do the things that you want to do or live the life that you want to live. And you sure as hell don't need anybody's permission to create the things that you want to create. So this is the Life in Pink podcast, and my name is Jess. So, not that long ago, I came across this video of Layla Hermosi, and she was talking about how we cannot feel afraid and curious at the same time. And it was one of those things that really stuck with me because I think that it's true. And I kept putting myself in different scenarios and thinking about going in with a curious mindset and how it negates the fear. If you think about something as simple as a first date, a lot of times we go into a first date and it's already, what if this person doesn't like me? What if it doesn't go well? Blah, 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 blah. But if you think about it and you're going in with a curious mindset of, I'm curious if this person could be a good fit for me, or I'm curious if I show up as exactly who I am, if this person will love me for that. The curiosity gives it a completely different vibe. And that is how I want to go into this podcast, and honestly, how I want to go into every endeavor in my life. Because I could go into this with this negative mindset, fearful mindset of, what if people judge me? What if people don't like me? What if people don't care and don't listen? Or I could go into this thinking, or going in with a curious mindset, and I'm curious what it would feel like. What would it feel like to create, record, and publish a solo podcast? If I show up as exactly who I am, what could that do for my sense of self? And I'm curious if my story could help other people, because I know for a fact that it could. So, like I said, I want to go into every endeavor with a curious mindset. So in this episode, I want to introduce myself, talk a little bit about who I am, why I'm here, why I think it can help, and why Life in Pink. So I'm a tattoo artist in Indianapolis, Indiana, more specifically Greenwood. It's a little bit south of Indianapolis, and I get to do the prettiest artwork. I was going to say the best. I absolutely love my job. I tattoo flowers and mandalas and ornamental pieces in nature, and I am absolutely obsessed. I do fine line black and gray. And I tattoo women all day, and I am obsessed with my clients. But as passionate as I am about tattooing and my clients, this podcast is going to be about a hell of a lot more than that. So I want to dive into a little bit of why I wanted to start a podcast and why I think that I could help. So I've been on a couple of self-development journeys in my life. My first one, My first one led me to my career. My second one led me here to this podcast. I would say about 3 years ago, I had this morning where I woke up and I didn't want to be completely honest. And at this time in my life, I had everything that I thought that I ever could want. I had the career. I opened up a tattoo studio. I was financially stable for the first time in my life. I was engaged. I had a close-knit family life. I have an amazing son. I had everything, but I was broken on the inside. I had a morning where I didn't want to get out of bed, and I felt like not that I was suicidal, but if an outside source were to take me out, I would be okay with that. And I was like, who the fuck am I to be feeling this way? Like, I had no reason. When I had everything I could ever want, I had no reason to be feeling this way. So I had to really take a look at my life and take a look at myself and get really honest with myself and ask myself, what is it? If I have everything that I want, I have the life that I want, why am I unhappy? And if I'm unhappy, is this the life that I want? And I came across this post the other day that was saying that if we look to everyone else to make our decisions for us, we will wake up in a dream that isn't ours. And that is like a perfect explanation of what happened to me. I was looking to every other person to make decisions about my life. I was bold enough to take action, but I didn't have enough trust within myself to trust myself to make decisions. So I would go to all these outside sources and discuss what I wanted to do with my life, and everybody else would make decisions for me. So during this time, I was living with my sister, and my fiance was a couple hours away, but he would stay with us 4 nights a week. And I had been basically very, very depressed. My living situation was chaotic, and my relationship was toxic. So those are definitely 2 things that played a big role. I decided that I was going to move out of the house that I was living in with my sister. So I moved out, and then 6 months after that, I broke off my engagement. And then 3 months after that, I don't know if I said this, but I was heavily drinking. I was very depressed, and substance abuse and alcoholism are things that run absolutely wild in my family. And both of my parents are alcoholics. It was something that I fought really, really hard whenever it came to that. And I decided to go completely cold turkey because I was drinking like 6 to 8 beers a day. Like, I was drinking an insane amount. I had gained a lot of weight. My face was so swollen. Like, whenever I look back at pictures of myself, I don't even look the same at all. It's absolutely insane. So 3 months after I broke off my engagement, I went completely cold turkey whenever it came to alcohol. And after that, I really, really dove into myself. I think I started I just kept removing toxic things from my life, and I could hear myself again. I could hear what I wanted, and I honestly think whenever it came to deciding to completely cut out alcohol, it was something that helped me trust myself. I was like, oh, I got this, like, I did this. And then I lost 40 pounds, and I really started diving into myself and really getting to know me, and I started to build love and trust within myself. And then a year to the date of going cold turkey whenever it came to alcohol, I went no contact with my immediate family. Everybody asked me before that, they would always ask, how did it affect your relationships? And I was like, it didn't. And then it did. And it did heavily. And at that time, I knew that I was taking steps in the right direction. I knew that what I was doing was right. I feel like so often we make decisions based on other people, and we don't make decisions based on ourselves. And the second that we flip that, it pisses a lot of people off. And I started making decisions for me, and everybody around me was making me out to be a bad guy, making it seem like what I was doing was wrong when I knew deep down inside it was right. So I couldn't handle how they were making me feel about myself. So I had to go completely no contact with them. And that was a year to the date of me stopping when it came to alcohol. And just a few months ago, I closed down my tattoo studio. And what I find interesting about all of this is that in these efforts to find myself and to create a life that is authentically mine, I stripped away everything I thought that I wanted. It's like I found out that that life was not me, and I started creating a life that was for me. And ever since then, I trust myself. I only confide in myself to make decisions for my life. And it has completely changed my life. It has completely changed every little detail of my life. And I cannot stop loving. I feel like I look at life differently. I've created this life for myself that is so authentically mine, and I am absolutely in love with it. And it's something that is so wildly different than anything that I've ever experienced in my entire life. Excuse me. So that brings me to why Life in Pink. Because as I was closing my old studio and opening my new one, whenever I had my old studio, I was like, I kept bringing more pink into my booth. And every time I did, I was like, ooh, I think I want to just like cover my entire booth in pink. It was making me so happy. So whenever I closed my studio and opened my private studio, they asked me what color I wanted to paint it. And I went and I got pink paint. I covered my walls in pink. My furniture is pink. My supplies are pink. Everything is pink. And I absolutely love it. But as I was going to my old studio to get the rest of my furniture, I was listening to the song that I've been obsessed with. And it's called La Vie en Rose. And it's a French saying. And I was like, I'd never looked it up before. I pulled into the old studio, I looked it up, and it translates into life in pink. And I could not believe it. I was like, you're kidding. Like, this is so fitting for everything. And not only is it fitting because of the color, but the deeper meaning is to see life in rose-colored glasses. And that was something that literally brought me to tears. I was like, this is it. Like, I'll cry right now. Anyway, I was like, this is the feeling that I've been feeling. Like, I feel like I love every little detail. I'm romanticizing every little thing whenever it comes to my life. And I feel like I am in love and I am single. I am absolutely in love with every part of my life. So that's why I decided to call this Life in Pink, because this life that I've created for myself, this like authentic life where I feel more creative and more inspired and more like myself than I have ever felt, that I want to help other people do that. I want to help other people create that for themselves. Like, I want you to have and create a life that is so authentic to you that you cannot help but to be in love with it. I know what it feels like, and I want to spread it around. So that is what I want the entire podcast to be about. But I want to go into different avenues of how we're going to do that, because I have to be honest. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat shit for you. And this isn't going to be a toxic positivity type of podcast, because getting to this point, like, yes, I feel like my life is like rainbows and butterflies, but it wasn't pretty getting here. The road here was very ugly. And it's a thing where you have to look at yourself deeply. You have to meet yourself. And some of us are going to be meeting ourselves for the first time ever. Like, you have to meet yourself. You have to be honest with who you are and what you want when everything is stripped away. You have to be honest with the deep, dark parts of yourself that you probably are scared to face. And you have to look at these feelings that we perceive as negative. And you have to understand that those feelings mean something. Like, you can't just suppress them. Like, we have to go into them. We have to figure them out and use them as guides. So it's not the funnest, but I would not change anything that has happened in my life. I am so grateful for all of the pain that I experienced to get to this point in my life where I feel like myself more than ever. I feel completely different. So thank you. First of all, thank you for listening. And I hope that I can help you get to this point, that I can help as many people as I can get to this point. And I'm going to try to release episodes. I would like to do them once a week, but I do have a career and a 6-year-old, so we'll see. But I hope to see you in the next episode. It is going to be about the time that I went to jail, because the next episode is going to be about radical accountability, bitch. And how if you do not take radical accountability for your life, life will always happen to you. And you will always be a victim of life. So stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you so much for being here. Love you. Bye.